Alright, in this video we're going to be solving rational equations, and we're also going to check for extraneous solutions. Now what makes this an equation is the fact that we have an equal sign. Now notice how we have one fraction, one term equals another term. Right, so you have one term on one side, one on the left, one on the right. What we can do here is that we can literally cross multiply. Okay. So when you cross multiply, it's going to be this one times this one. And you write it like this. And then you say equals, because we have an equal sign in the middle. This one times this one. And it literally looks like a cross. So it's going to be 4 times 3x. Right? And now you just work it out. You distribute the 9 and you get 9x plus 18 equals 12x. And you want to, well, in this case we can subtract 9. We have 18 equals 3x. And since we're solving for x, we want to get rid of the 3. And we have that x equals 6. So now the question is this really a solution? Or is it extraneous? And what you can do is you can check this against the excluded values. And what are your excluded values? The excluded values come from the original denominators, the 3x and the x plus 2. Well, take your 3x, set it equal to 0, you get x equals 0. That's excluded value number 1, right? And you take the x plus 2 and you set it equal to 0, you get x equals negative 2. What's excluded value number 2? X equals 6 is not one of these two values, so then yes, this is a solution to the problem. Alright, this is the second problem, and we have the same situation where we have one term on the left equals one term on the right. And so now we can cross multiply. So we can say that the 8 times the x minus 1 equals the 2 times the 3x minus 2. And this has literally become a single variable equation, and we're going to solve for x. In order to do that, we have to distribute the 8 and we have to distribute the 2. So we have 8x minus 8 equals 6x minus 4. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Alright, so we have 2x minus 8 equals negative 4. We're going to add 8 because we're solving for x. So we have 2x equals 4. And divide by 2. So now we have x equals 2. So now the question is this really a solution? Well, you look at the excluded values. The original denominator was 3x minus 2. Set it equal to 0. We have 3x equals 2 divided by 3. We get x equals 2/3, which is not a 2. Good. And your other denominator is x minus 1. Alright, so these are your excluded values. And since they're not a 2, that means 2 is a valid answer. So then this one is your solution. Is a solution. Or the solution. One of the two. Alright, this one's number 3. And the same situation. We're going to cross multiply. Right, so we're going to get this one times this one. And both of these need to be in parentheses. So we have x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals x times dx plus 5. Right, so now we need to distribute. This becomes x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 6 equals x squared plus 5x. And what we have to do in this case is we have to move all of the x's to the left. So minus x squared minus x squared. And look, it cancels on both sides. So I'm going to move this one as well. Right, so it cancels here. So on the right side I have a 0. And over here I have a minus 3x. Oh, I forgot to combine those. So all of this is minus 3 minus 3 minus 6x. Let me get my little eraser. Minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to add 6. Divided by negative 6. I get x equals negative 1. So then I'm going to check with my denominators, which is x plus 5 and x plus 2. From x plus 5, I get that x equals negative 5. And from x plus 2, I get that x equals negative 2. So the excluded values are negative 5, negative 2. And since it's not a negative 1, then this is a valid solution. Yep, minus 6. Alright, when looking at this problem, the first thing I notice is that this side is actually 2 terms, and this one is only 1 term, or 1 fraction. Basically, this has 1 fraction bar, this one has 2 fraction bars. So this has to be combined. So I have to give this one a times a 2 to make it a 6, and this one I have to give it an x. So and this one has to be multiplied by x. And so that gives me 4 over 6x plus x over 6x equals 4 over 3x, right? Now I'm touching the right side. I'm combining this. Now I have a common denominator. So now this is 4 plus x over 6x equals 4 over 3x. And now I have one term equals another term. Now I can cross multiply. Remember, this part has to go in, this one has to go in parentheses. Right, so it's 3x times 4 plus x equals these two, right? 4 times 6x. So this becomes 12x plus 3x squared equals 24x minus 24x minus 24x. So now I have minus 12x plus 3x squared. And in this case, because it's a quadratic, I have to factor. If it was degree 1, right, linear, then I would solve for x. And if it's degree 2, which is a quadratic, then I would factor first, then I would solve for x. So what can I pull here? I can pull a negative 3x. Now we get 4 plus x equals 0. Oh, duh. All I had to do was unfactor kind of a little bit here, but except that negative sign. This should be a negative sign, right? Alright, let's see, did I factor correctly? This is negative 12x, and that would give me positive 3x squared. Yes, I did. Alright, so then I have to set each of them equal to 0. So here, I divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. It's still x equals 0. And here I just add x. And I get x equals 4. So I have both of these choices as my solutions, right? But I have to check it against the excluded values. And the excluded values come from the 3x. Let's see, 3x equals 0. That means x equals 0 is an excluded value. That means this one's not an acceptable solution. And that means the only solution is this one, x equals 4.